I love that you stayed until the end of the video. Good morning, my beauties. I am Miss Pravala, MP. Welcome back to my channel. And today another video of me addressing a topic, chit-chatting with you while kind of making the box of a client. So this client ordered 2 custom package kits. And by the way, if you're interested in booking me for a custom, do it ASAP, because I'm going to have to put it sold out on the website because I'm getting overly booked. And yeah, so that's that. Because thankfully I have amazing clients who are really into this life of hyper femininity, of soft femininity, sacred femininity, and the rituals that we do. So this is actually the same potion, I just haven't dressed this one. So this client ordered a box, which I am basically, this is going to be the potion that she gets. It has the emerald as base, with of course her special needs. So I addressed this one, I'm going to address this after making the video. So if you saw the title of the video, why are modern women so lonely? When I scroll, you say scroll down in English, social media, TikTok, Instagram, I see, maybe because of the algorithm having identified that I may be a woman interested in certain things. I like videos on decoration, on beautiful houses, travel, mostly. Cooking as well, but not any type of cooking. I really like aesthetic things. Anything that comes with classical music in the background, I'm the one. I'm your target. And basically, I've started to see occasionally women who show their life, you know, how they wake up in the morning, how maybe they make their beds. Good for them. I don't make my bed. I have someone who does that for me. I'm lucky in that way. You know, but like aesthetically pleasing. And those are women who are usually women who were good with money. Maybe they went to a good school, and they have a good career. They have access to fashion. They have access to whatever they want, really, in terms of anything that money requires. But what I've started to notice more and more is the fact that those women tend to be or live alone. And you have people, women, commenting on such videos, applauding the life and, you know, the accomplishment and the achievement and the lifestyle and the beauty of those women, whether they're influencers or women who have succeeded in their careers or women who come from a good family. You know the type of women. So women who represent the super achiever or the super achiever or successful looking women. And it's almost like there's this new breed of women who have the work etiquette to get their goals achieved, but somehow it comes with the price of sacrificing intimacy, or what I have today with my client, which is that she can't get a man who's at her level financially or who's above her financially. So this notion of, she's accomplished everything, she loves her lifestyle, she loves her life, but something in her energy, and I'm going to speak softly, okay? I'm not going to get spirits and entities involved, okay? If you're interested in hardcore spirituality, sign up for my spiritual membership. This is really the topic that interests you. You need to sign up for my spiritual membership. Here, I'm really going to talk about the majority of modern westernized women. And I have a lot of clients who fit in this category because, they're indulging. They're indulging in good quality life, good quality food, good quality experience, and some of them may be curious about this lifestyle of women using potions, which are, if you saw my video on the history of potion, which are really the ancestors of our perfume industry, right? So as you are a super achieving woman, a super beautiful woman, like a woman who shows up in her perfection on a daily basis, showing up to work, showing up in her career, elevating herself, or keeping herself at the level of elevation, and not reaching fulfillment, or not reaching this place of not being too attacking. This client of mine, I had my first session with her, and I could tell she's on edge. She's used to being in charge. She's used to being in control. She doesn't know how to surrender. She's afraid of surrendering power and control. She feels like she's going to lose control. She doesn't have trust in the fact that she can have a man who's going to have this role in her life without her having to sacrifice her lifestyle or things like that. So there's a very complicated maneuvering. Also, this notion of protection, which showed up in the discussion that we had, which was that she had the list. Her man had to be physically extremely handsome, at least in the way she finds men handsome. So she has a physical type, and in that physical type, the man had to be making more money than she does. He had to be assertive. He had to be ambitious, but yet present, affectionate. He had to, to make a lot of money, but have a lot of time for her. A lot of basically conflicting, even if we look in the very logical human way of seeing things, very conflicting criteria. Because if you want a man who is a super achiever just like you, then he can't be available, right? And you want the man who looks amazing, but yet it has come to a level of maturity, looking amazing, extremely handsome, extremely rich, but yet, knowing that a man like that has a choice. So even in terms of the way you show up physically, you have to look the part. If you impose that on a man, you can't be slacking, right? On your looks. But you want that man to be loyal, to have reached the point of maturity where he's like, I can have any woman I want, but I'm going to choose you, regardless of how you are. So a lot of our conversation was actually really not based on the spiritual work that I'm going to do for her, the road opening work that I'm doing for her, you know, the hardcore spiritual stuff that I do. It was much more about how she needs to balance her programming on being this modern day woman, not having traditional values, but yet wanting the men to have traditional values, which is really not a, you know, it is a spiritual conversation, because spirituality is not necessarily the woo-woo, you know, occult thing, which is at the core of spirituality, which is why you come to someone like me. But for you on a regular basis, as a woman who's just living through this life, maneuvering in life, indulging in the entitlements that are yours already, you know, of course, you're here to thrive. You're here to have the best life experience, but it has to be inside out. If you have everything on the outside, but ultimately you're lonely, even if you have a relationship with someone who fits the outside criteria, but ultimately you feel lonely on the inside. I don't know if you see the distinction. You can be in a room full of people and still feeling lonely. And when you're fulfilled, you can be at times alone, in contemplation, like the way I'm doing here. I'm doing my mission, right? And my mission happened to be one of the ways I have money as an experience. But I don't feel lonely the moments when I'm alone, because I'm full on the inside. So it's very interesting for me to see how a lot of women who've come to this place of financial security, or who come from financial security, who never had to question that, who have access to whatever they want, how those women have this thing where, you know, intimacy is an issue, and how other women comment or support them in their endeavor of, yes, you're a superwoman, or you're a super this, you're such an inspiration. And it makes them, from, you know, the encounters that I've had with clients of mine, it's very, very hard, because they need to show up with this front of, yes, I have it all, I can't disappoint you, I can't disappoint the people who look up to me, I can't disappoint my family. If you come from a well-off background, I know in my experience, you know, I'm out of that phase. But I know that women in my family, it's definitely a discussion where a lot of women, you know, they're acquired over time, real estate, you know, I'm from a good family. I'm from Central Africa, but a good family. I was never hungry. I was never in need. I was never in scarcity. I was spoiled, actually. If you're part of the spiritual membership, I've shared with you, you know, I've showed photos of my family, of, you know, my background, which is not the topic of this video. But access to privileges, especially when it is part of your background, can also be a handicap to you finding fulfillment, because there is a duty to bloodline, there's a duty, a responsibility to continue on the pedigree. So in my case, I strayed away from that by moving, you know, where most people, kids in my family specifically, the logical route would have been to go to Paris, for example, because I come from Central Africa. So France is, you know, which is actually, I live in the south of France now. France is the place we travel. I mean, I've traveled, sorry, my dress is like really, should I leave it this way? No, it's really too inappropriate. It's a beach dress. I felt really, it's really warm here, but even though I'm wearing a braless, strapless bathing suit underneath, it's still kind of, yeah, it's messing up my flow. Anyways, yeah, so for us, the logic, you know, all of my siblings, you know, after high school, went to amazing schools in France, all over France, in Paris mostly. So I was actually the first one to decide to get my destiny in my own hands, and I told my family that I would go to the US, knowing nothing about it. Actually, I traveled for love. I was so in love with this guy. I thought I was gonna have my entire life having babies and whatever with him. So this was the secret no one knew about. But I just said that I wanted to be on my own. So my parents just went, got me a whole bunch of, because back then, you know, I'm 42, right? So back then we didn't have, like, we had traveler's checks, and we had cash. So I traveled with a whole bunch, like a big craft envelope with a whole bunch of cash. I went with it to the bank with my mom. She emptied my, you know, my savings account that she had been putting money in since I was a baby, and you know, my father and she did, and she just handed me the envelope like, okay, bye. You're not gonna make it in the US. I know in 3 months you're gonna be back. And that was my fuel to make it on my own, to go to the US and experience scarcity. And that, you know, I had to have a job, which really no one gets a job in my culture when you go to school. It's just not something you do. When you're a student, you're a student. You don't have a second job, which I found in the United States was very common. You had kids who were 16, 17 years old who had jobs at the coffee shop or things like that. So for me, it was really, really interesting. I found it very nice because I had been dreaming of the US from watching movies, right? So I was living my American dream, I guess, and telling myself I would never go back home unless I had succeeded. So I had this drive. What helped me was the fact that I had a very big spiritual backbone. And also I knew where I was coming from. I knew my pedigree. So even in times when it was difficult financially, I never lost sight of who I was and what I was, which is the mindset, I guess, which I guess you can't ever live in scarcity, even if you're experiencing hardships financially or in the way you live. Knowing who you are, knowing what you are, and that's what I teach for those who are very spiritual. You have this sacred DNA, and you're tied to divinity. Being a woman, you need to strive to become a sacred woman, because sacred women win. Sacred women have a strong sense of who they are, and they connect to this sacred aspect of them, which gives them an innate entitlement. So they know that they can shift realities, they can shift energies, because they have the link with this spirituality, you know, with energy, which is not an abstract thing. It's an actual lived experience. They actually connect. So this potion life is really for a type of women who love to indulge, who know they're entitled to indulge, but who have the mentality or the mindset of, I don't need to struggle to thrive. And it's not about the outside, really, because you can go to a spa every week, pampering yourself, but still feeling lonely, and still going to the spa and coming back home and being alone with your beautiful Pinterest, aesthetically beautiful dog, puppy, or you're a beautiful cat, but you're alone. All of that success looks good in photos, but in reality, your life has no sense of sharing the magic. And because you're born with a womb, you know, as a woman, having this as the place we create, and this is why, you know, I'm going to link it to spirituality and the fact that spirituality is by essence traditional, because spirituality obeys cosmic law, and cosmic law has shown us the dance of masculine energy and feminine energy and the entities that represent feminine energy and masculine energy, and the way we're born as humans with characteristics that are bound to our anatomy and our biology, and the hormones that come with it. As a woman, their energies and behaviors that match your physical anatomy. So the energy we're talking about, and here I'm not talking about the spiritual entities, okay? Today is really a topic on exploring the energy, the notion of hyper-femininity. I told you in my previous video, I will not, I will use the word hyper-femininity here on YouTube, but also on Instagram or whatever social media you find me. Because the word sacred feminine has been exploited, abused, raped by ignorant people who use it as a tag, as a label to justify the biggest nonsense, in my opinion. Coming from occult and having an experience in occultism and mysticism is in deep, hardcore, empirically lived experience, not, spirituality that you learn from watching videos like these, or reading books or seeing movies, of people acting out spirituality or acting like spirituals. Spirituality is a lived thing. The experience of God is a lived thing. The experience of transcending who you are is a lived thing. The experience of awakening as a spiritual is a real thing. And once you put labels that are tied to programming, you limit your experience of spirituality, and also you make it false. So sacred femininity is one of those terms that have become keyword searchable, and every single silly little girl or immature woman or woman who has failed in some aspect of her life but needs to justify that, or any person who has any type of spiritual deviance, so not anyone who is misusing her anatomy in a way that the cosmic law did not dictate. You're going to now use the word sacred femininity, which corrupts the word itself. So I chose to use the word hyper feminine because when you're a woman experiencing the evolution and development which you need to, regardless of where you start, regardless of how rich you are at the beginning, regardless of what your pedigree is or not at the beginning of your life, doesn't really matter. Everyone is meant to evolve. And the evolution really shows when you're happy and fulfilled from within. And when you have a tank, an inner tank that is full, when you're using your womb, where your sexual energy is, where your magic is when you're using it to actually create magic in your life. We're meant to be fulfilled. We're meant to love our life. We're meant to love the place we live in. And we love the fact that we're meant to be loved. We're meant to be cherished. And we're meant to have the most luscious sexuality. A man's job is to lust at a woman. A man's job is to continuously court his woman. A man's job is to constantly make sure that the woman is in a state where she doesn't need to think, where she feels guided. But it's not a behavior that is dictatable. Is that a word? Because every person is going to experience it in a different way. Because we're different women. We're not meant to be carbon copies of each other. We're not meant to look like each other. We're not meant to have beauty like each other. We're not supposed to be robots or humanoids. We're supposed to know what makes us beautiful, to know what is our unique traits, and to play on those traits. And the word play is really not used in a coincidental way. You're supposed to play at life. When you play, when you have this inner joy, when you share intimacy as a woman, that's when fulfillment exists. Now, the feminists who may fall upon this video are going to be like, what do you mean? I can't be fulfilled if I don't have a man in my life? No. No. All of that material achievement means nothing if you can't use it to feel good on the inside. If you have all of that achievement and you don't have the formula to really go into bed smiling, waking up smiling, even if you're a neurosurgeon woman who has very difficult shifts, or even if you're a lawyer who has to try very difficult cases in court, or if you're a lawyer who files more business cases where you don't have to go to court but do contracts, those are activities that require you to use a lot of your physical mechanism and mental mechanism, where your innate magic is not really at play. So you have to find a way to compensate that. Otherwise, your life is drowned in career. Your life is drowned in achievement. And the more achievement you get, the more you get sucked in needing achievement, because there is never enough. There is never enough. The higher you go, the higher you want to go. And you compensate, the lack of. When I'm going home, there's actually someone who's going to massage my feet. There's actually someone who's going to call me during the day or text me during the day, even if he is the most richest, busiest man, A man who is present, even though he's not really present physically all the time, as you're not as well. So it's really there is really a pandemic of lonely women. A pandemic of women who are deprived of their sacred sensuality. Women who are deprived of this divine entitlement to loving themselves anytime, any day. When they don't wear makeup, when they have failures in their life, when they're experiencing hardships, whatever. They're missing the backbone of being a woman, being a sacred woman, being a hyper feminine woman, which is to understand that magic means surrendering to joy, finding pleasure moment to moment. Now, this is going to be a shameless plug, because maybe you don't know my work. If you don't know any of that, the notion of hyper femininity as linked to fulfillment and real success in life, and real holistic success in life, inside out, in all aspects, photogenically, but also as an inner experience, you need to start with my book, which is called Addicted to Pleasure, the Goddess Formula to Manifest Our Most Capricious Desires. This is a very, very easy read because, as you can tell, I am not a native English speaker. My English is very, very limited. At least I try to improve my English more. So this is going to be a very, very good book for you to read. All of the women who have bought this book, even though I really never do any type of advertising, like I've been a hyper femininity product machine for so many years, and I've never really done any sort of marketing for any of that unless, you know, I come here to YouTube, which really I do it in a very clumsy way because, you know, I like to do things the way I like them to be done, in a sense that not pressuring myself, knowing that I'm going to be okay anyways, knowing that money is not a problem, knowing that I need my rest, knowing that I need to take care of my loved ones, knowing that I have 2 daughters who are becoming young women that need my presence, that need also to evolve in their own femininity, especially at a time where being teenagers, they're also exploring that, and there's this battle, this conflict between you know, our way of living, where we come from and what we are about, and being exposed to this clumsy Western way of imposing, you know, concepts which are outside of us, outside of our inner teachings, inner will, inner desires. So for me, there's no compromise on happiness. That's why I do things based on my rhythm, not on scarcity, not on tactics, not on strategy. I love my life, and even if I wasn't coming here in this platform showing up to you, my life would be awesome because I have as much pleasure not working, quote unquote, taking the day to go shopping or to go to the beach. Yesterday, you know, can you believe it? It's winter, right? In most places in the northern hemisphere. And yet yesterday I was at the beach in the French Riviera. So I love that, you know? And I loved when I'm busy, consumed by my activity, serving women, teaching them and helping them with my talents, with my occultist talent, which is bloodline, which is genetically passed down to me from generation to generation, but still having the knowledge of someone who has had a higher education, of someone who has been exposed to traveling all over the world, being exposed to culture, to different types of foods, different types of taste, different types of appreciation of what is happiness, what is beauty, what is a relationship that is fulfilling, different types of appreciation of fashion, you know, beauty. If you travel to South America or Northern Africa or Central Africa, West Africa, Europe, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, Asia, the Middle East, you see that appreciation really differs. So there's no one size fits all. However, the feeling has to be the same. The feeling is contentment. And that's what I strive for my clients, to have contentment. That's why we do, you know, we recreate their rituals so that, you know, once I do my part, the spiritual part, then they can just enjoy their daily routine. You know, they jump into moaning. So they, you know, my custom potion clients, as part of what they have access to my sacred moaning program. So it's basically daily, morning and evening, doing this beautiful sacred feminine. I know I wasn't supposed to use this word again, hyper feminine, but really turning their body into a temple of creation. And moaning is the primordial sound of creation. This is what we're taught once we become women, when we have our first period. In my culture, which is an indigenous culture, right? We're taught that as becoming women, there are things that we need to know, the magic of our body. So you need to sacredly moan. You need to use your moaning to fuel your body, to connect your energy centers, to see where are your blockages, where are your fears, or even why are you so turned on by suffering? Why are you so turned on by scarcity in your life? Whatever scarcity is, if it is in money, if it is in relationships, if it is with whatever suffering you're going through. Why somehow your body emotionally is stuck? How can you tell that it's stuck? Is still just the way you feel, the need that you have. And 100% of women, if you're not moaning daily as your spiritual practice, I don't care if, even if you're going to the Himalayas doing transcendental meditation with the monks, this is not how women find fulfillment. Renunciation, which is what Western type of spirituality has spread as the way to find solace, because somehow in the 60s and 70s a whole bunch of Western people started going to India and Tibet because they had had a life of toxicity, drugs, toxic patriarchy and whatever. They went and discovered this way of living spirituality as going inside, meditating silently and all of that. Yes, it's good. It's really good. However, it is one way of experiencing spirituality, which you may need once in a while when you have too much noise around you. But this is, as far as we're concerned, man's spirituality, masculine spirituality, or God's spirituality. Women are different than men. Otherwise, we would be the same. We would have the same sexual organs. We would have the same, women wouldn't have breasts. Men wouldn't have chests. Our breasts wouldn't be protruding outwards as the antennas of our heart chakra. Anyways, we're built differently because we're different. So we're experiencing spirituality and magic in a different way. I can't go to a male teacher to teach me how to be a sacred woman. It doesn't make sense. Just like a man can't come to me to teach him about womb spirituality if he doesn't have a womb, right? It just doesn't make sense. And I don't care how of a modern person you are, how feminist you are, how woke you are. All of that is good. Keep that for your outside life and your battles on Twitter. That's good. It gives you an identity. It feeds your egos. The bottom line is our anatomy has a purpose. It ties to our spirituality and it ties to our way to experience happiness. A woman can never be happy if she chases success, if it chases money, if she chases relationships, if she has to use strategies, like I'm going to start to go to nice hotels to find nice men. Why? If you're a woman of a certain pedigree, if you've worked on that and you're in your softness, you're going to be called to go to certain places because you like those places yourself. It's going to be a calling from within you because you're seeking your pleasure. And it's nothing that you can strategize. Sorry, my French is always trying to take the lead in my speech. Can't strategize that. There's work that we need to do spiritually. That's why you come to someone like me. So I help you on that front, helping you getting rid of all of that clutter energetically. And then you maneuver from the only compass that's worthy of being followed, which is how much pleasure do I have? How do I feel being a woman? How am I led by me, by my my divinity, my sacred self, and not led by what other people do, say, think, feel, even if those people are women. Anyways, I meant to show you the work that I'm doing today. So anyways, this client got me 2 custom potion packages. Now, I'm starting her with this, which is the bath that she's going to do. She's going to do it for 3 weeks. Each of my potions should last 4 to 6 weeks. So this is really going to be 2 months and a half or 3 months use. She's going to use it every day. If you're a potion girl, you use potions every day. Just like you brush your teeth every day, right? Just like you put perfume on every day. Just like you put lotion on your body every day, right? You need to feed your temple first. So you're going to do your sacred moaning every day, and then you're going to apply your potion as an integrated, it's part of your life. If you're into hyper femininity, you use hyper feminine tools, period. So, but this is really hardcore stuff that she's going to do, okay? This is to remove any type of curses, any type of limiting programmings, egos, stuff like that. It's a purification, anti-curse or curse removal thing. She's going to use this here with this soap, which I can't really put out because I already packaged it. But anyways, it's a soap. It's a curse removal soap. They go hand in hand. She's using this at first, okay? Then she's going to do 1 week of just plain this. And it's another blend. If you're an herbalist, you know this. As a main plant, it has eucalyptus and hyssop, and of course the blessing coming from me, because this you can buy wherever you buy that stuff, but you come to me because my energy is superior, right? You come to the doctor, right? Hyper femininity doctor. So she has this as well, because we need to really unclog her. We need to remove all that gunk. It's really important. For her, it's very important to still have this notion of keeping her lifestyle, which is why we went for the emerald potion. So she's also getting, and she's going to use it every day, usually at night, I think, for her. She's using this soap, which is an aura cleansing soap. I haven't packaged it yet, so I have to package it as well. So it's an aura cleansing soap. And this is really to keep attracting lifestyle money, specifically for her. Career money, upgrades in that department. Then, what does she have also? Then we're moving on to the attraction part, okay? Because the goal for her is to be rid of this loneliness, and it really starts. I mean, we're setting her up with. She's gonna do her moaning, and then she's doing her sacred moaning, and then we're going to also. This is going to be on our second session. After the second session, I'm going to send her affirmations, which is going to repeat. She's going to repeat her affirmations back to back to back. The affirmations are really going to be the support system, so that her mind, her brain starts to get with the program of understanding that, yes, okay, well, that stuff was yours in the first place, but now let's implant the new beliefs, which are beliefs that are going to serve where she's going now, okay? So she's getting an attraction bath, which is really, really, I should call it a sexiness bath. It's an attraction bath really based on the notion of sacred self-seduction. She's going to start feeling really, really beautiful in herself, oozing this sexual energy. She also gets this second attraction. She's getting to, understand now, because maybe you don't, everyone is different, every client is different, but she booked me for 2, right? So she gets to deep work. So also this here, which is more of a sexiness, but also mainly commitment. So as we're raising her vibrations, we're cleansing her aura so that she shows up really shining. Okay, her aura shining bright. We want her to feel called and having encounters with a man who are ready to commit, who are ready to be that man who's there for her. So it's not going to be based on, I want my man to look like a model or like a playboy, but who happens to be traditional while I'm here being a non-traditional woman, having my life, my career, but then my man needs to have money but be traditional but still cook for me. You know, like all of that wrong logic, toxic logic that she currently has. So we're done with the attraction part, right? She's gonna need to work on her womb, right? Her magic, her sexiness, her lusciousness. So I always start with this to clean. So she's gonna insert this. This, you know by now if you've watched other videos of mine. I don't make these. I get them from Africa. They're made by village women and from a specific ethnic group, very specific ethnic group. They make these. It's one. She's gonna use one every 2 weeks after the full moon, when the moon is going down, to release a lot of gunk, because she's had sex with many men. So this is very, very good. We need to get her back to her womb, her yoni, you know, her vagina, to be new again. So she's gonna yoni steam and she's gonna do her yoni smoke. Okay, they go hand in hand. Please, if you were not taught this by an elder, okay, woman, if you're not from the heart of Africa, some village in Africa, or if you're not part of some tribe from Native America, if you're, you know, indigenous tribe, or if you're not from an indigenous tribe from the Amazonian forest, or if you're not part of a Celtic group of women who do this traditionally, please don't start, because I've had apparently some people, because this thing, unless you've done that, unless you've been to a temple, unless you've been trained, you don't know how to do that, period. Okay, so yoni smoke is a specific ritual that you have to do after you steam. Most women do a yoni steam as a medicinal thing. Good for you, it's fine. As a spiritual practice, as a magic practice, but even as a physical practice. The same way you're going to go to do a facial, right, at a beautiful spa, you're going to have your face steamed, open the pores, right, and have whatever properties of ingredients you use going in. It's the same way you need to seal after, right? So this is why we use this. I call it Venus smoke. That's the way I call it, because as a Venusian, that's what I'm going to say. Here I've just put it as yoni smoke to make it simple for my client, so she knows what it is. I use the word smoke, but it's not a dry thing. It's not a dry thing. It's not a dry material. It's not a dry thing. I don't know what you call it. You know, it's not an incense. It's not a plant. It's a mix that is very gooey and very, you know, to make you like this. I don't know how to explain it. To make you so that when the man is inside, even you in your like lived experience, you just feel juicy, and you're juicy in your intimacy as well. This here you're going to use, okay, I just showed you the attraction thing. So this here, the attraction body toner, you just put it all over your skin, okay, like a toner. What else is she getting? Oh, of course, she's getting the sexy tea that she's going to drink every morning. So she can add it to her regular infusion tea, black tea, whatever tea she uses. But then she uses a little bit of it, a little bit of that juice, puts it in it, and she's going to drink it every day. I think that's it. I was able to make this video Oh, it's 45 minutes, 49 minutes. Anyways, I hope you like this type of content. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you're a woman who loves her money, if you're a woman who loves her good lifestyle, do you find it easy to be career oriented and have men, the best type of men, all over you? Or what is your experience? If you have a lot of money, or if you have money that you feel is good for you, if you can afford pretty much anything you want, do you think the experience of intimacy as a lived experience from the inside, so the most amazing sex life, the most amazing dates, the man who looks at you like you're the freaking every man I've been with, it's so weird, every man I've been with, and I haven't been with many men, but you know, I've been with only men I've always wanted to commit long term anyways. That's why I've never been just promiscuous, but also because I'm so stingy of my sexual energy. I can't be just in the enjoyment of, let me just try out. You know, I'm not a car. But anyways, the men that I've been with, at one point or another, very early on, have always called me goddess. Always. Especially in bed. It just comes so naturally. And very weirdly, I usually keep this part of my life very separate. My man doesn't know how much money I make, doesn't know what I do. He kind of knows. But not quite. He's very intrigued and very, like, he just finds it very exotic. But he doesn't care. It's not a discussion. Because I'm available, I'm lusciously available, and I just love being, you know, I just love loving myself. So somehow, me spending so much time fulfilling, being in the spiritual fulfillment, has made men completely devoted from the beginning. So you can definitely be a woman who lives in this modern life and using some masculine abilities in terms of taking action without becoming masculine yourself, enjoying your experience and looking forward to the day ending, because you know that someone is going to splurge on you, or someone is going to indulge on you, or someone is going to just, you know, it's amazing. And it doesn't matter if you've been in a relationship for 20 years or if you're just starting in a relationship, it doesn't matter. Devotion and commitment comes naturally when you have that within yourself. Anyways, enjoy. I love you. I can't wait to see you in my next video. The potions are still, I don't know when I'm going to publish this video, but if it's still in January, the potions are still on sale until the end of January. But it doesn't really matter, because my potions are just your way of showing yourself that you're entitled to this life of lusciousness and fulfillment and pleasure, that you're just so ready to fall in love with yourself that it's a small investment, you know, to buy my potions every month or every month and a half, because they're such a huge addition to your life. So I'm just saying, yes, if you're interested, you can stock up on your potions while there's still a sale. The sale ends at the end of January. The end of January also, I'm going to have the manifestation webinar, which is really for you if you still stuck in this this scarcity thing, scarcity loophole, scarcity cycle, whatever that means for you. Whatever that means for you. It doesn't matter how much money you can make. You can be making $60,000 a month and still feel like strangled financially, right? So definitely check out my webinar. There are 3 groups that are already booked for February. It's going to be 31st, 1st, and I think 2nd. And then if you're still interested, I'm doing another one on the 8th of February. So manifestation webinar, it's going to be group 4. The link is going to be in the description box. And I can't think of anything else. Can't wait to see you in my next one. I love you and enjoy. Manifest lavish imperial opulence.